finishing this fight.
That's it? Wait, is that it?
That was the end of my first playthrough of Halo 2, and I genuinely thought there was going to be another mission. After Combat Evolved, almost everyone had told me the same thing. Just wait until you play Halo 2. I had liked the first campaign enough, even if parts of it had tested my patience. So, I played the whole of Halo 2 for the first time to find out whether they were actually right, and why a sequel that started like this ended up like that. Halo 2 does not open with Master Chief. It opens inside the Covenant's holy city, where the commander responsible for losing the first Halo ring is dragged before an enormous council, publicly humiliated, and then branded for his failure. At this point, I still didn't understand how the Covenant worked. Combat Evolved had mostly presented them as a collection of aliens trying to kill me. Halo 2 immediately showed me that there was more to this entire religion, hierarchy, and political system behind them.
What the hell is the Great Journey? What?
I did not know yet that I was looking at one of the main characters. Humanity had responded to the destruction of Halo slightly differently. The first thing we see is Cairo Station, one of the orbital defense platforms protecting Earth.
Oh my god, it's Israel.
Before attending a ceremony, Master Chief is put through a quick inspection of his armor,
Please look at the top light.
which gives me the chance to test his controls before anything actually happens. While the Covenant commander is being punished for losing the ring, Master Chief is awarded a medal for destroying it.
You told me there wouldn't be any cameras.
I like the idea that Master Chief is camera shy. He's got a little bit of anxiety.
Our alien friend realizes the council intends to put him to death. He's restrained and burned with a mark of shame. I really love the contrast between these two. One battle has made Chief a hero and turned the man on the other side into a condemned before Halo 2 has even let me fire a weapon. It has shown me the history of these events that we influenced from completely different perspectives. Chief's reward initially appeared to be that now he could hold two guns at once.
To dual wield. No, I was trying to pick up that one. There we go.
Dual wielding was the first major mechanical change I noticed. Apparently, one gun was no longer enough, so now I could pick up another and fire both at once. I also had absolutely no idea how to grab the weapon I actually wanted. It sounds like a straightforward upgrade, but it changes the combat more than I expected. A second weapon gives me more immediate firepower, but I lose access to grenades and melee until I drop it. It also leaves guns like the SMG feeling less like complete weapons and more like one half of a pair. The meta you're supposed to do is to combine plasma weapons to take down shields, while also firing bullets to lower the health of the enemy at the same time. However, I usually just picked up two of the same gun. Dual wielding was fun, but it did not feel like a free upgrade over Combat Evolved. The health system is also something that's changed. Combat Evolved had a recharging shield and a health bar, so damage could follow me from one fight to another until I found a health pack. Halo 2 just has a shield and lets it regenerate as well. It is cleaner and faster, but it removes that long-term, sense of weight to every single combat encounter, making individual counters feel more separate, like they're in bubbles or something. That sense of having to redo certain sections, keep dying over and over again because you weren't careful in the last encounter, is what made the original game so fun, and I'm sad that that's gone. However, I did not have much time to think about any of that because the Covenant were already boarding Cairo Station.
The hell out of my armory! Split out!
Wait, no, they killed him! No, wait, is his body that? Oh my, it is. No!
After avenging the only man on the station who had ever helped me calibrate a suit of armor, I kept moving until we discovered what the Covenant were actually trying to do. They had planted a bomb powerful enough to destroy the entire platform.
They have a bomb.
Master Chief's solution was to not disarm it. This was the first moment I properly understood why people had told me to wait for Halo 2. Combat Evolved had impressive set pieces, sure, but nothing with this scale or confidence. The music builds while Chief carries the bomb through the station, then almost completely disappears as he falls through the middle of the battle. The camera keeps pulling away until he's barely visible between ships large enough to destroy entire cities.
Oh my god, he's gonna blow up a fucking ship by doing this. Oh, there, jump! I
really, really love this shot. Cairo Station is probably Halo 2 at its absolute best. All Chief has done is carry a bomb from one place to another, but the game presents it like it's the end of an action film, and it's the beginning of the campaign. Honestly, it really works.
For a brick, he flew pretty good.
That's true.
With Cairo Station saved, the Covenant retreated towards Mombasa, so we followed them down. Cairo Station survived, but the Covenant force above Earth was strangely small. The fleet that had destroyed Reach had apparently been 50 times larger, and even the UNSC seemed to be confused about why so few ships had arrived. One of those ships was carrying the Prophets of Regret, one of the leaders of the Covenant.
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards.
Oh man, this guy's so funny. What the fuck is that? What the hell is this thing? Oh shit.
Before I could work out whether I was expected to fight the enormous thing ahead of us, our Pelican was shot down. From there, I fought through the streets, rooftops, and the courtyards of New Mombasa, helping the Marines push back against the Covenant. This was the first time Halo had taken me somewhere recognizably human. Combat Evolved had been mostly set across the ring, inside military facilities, and aboard the occasional Covenant ship. Now, the Covenant were attacking an actual city on Earth. However, despite looking like a real city, New Mombasa is definitely not laid out like one. This isn't a bad thing. This is why it works so well. It uses recognizable things like alleys, courtyards, hotels, and rooftops, and uses those elements to make actually interesting levels. Bungie's own level design Vidoc talks about guiding players with texture, lighting, AI, and sound, a practice that was commonplace until the invention of yellow paint in 2015 AD. You can see all of that in the first courtyard. Enemies arrive from the street, the rooftops, and the air. The turret only covers one angle, and the hunters eventually smash through the, would-be exit. By the time they do that though, it's obvious where to go to progress to the next level. Once we reached the highway, Johnson handed me a tank.
Yeah, I don't like how quick this tank is. I think it needs to be slower actually, like it's just going a little bit too quick for me, like if you could just slow it down some more.
After fighting through cramped streets, I could now drive directly through the Covenant positions leading further into the city. The change was immediate. Outskirts had kept us inside tight alleys and courtyards, house-to-house fighting where the Covenant constantly appeared above or around me. This next level opened the same battle for the city into highways, roads, and avenues. The battle for the city suddenly became a lot larger. It was also extremely fun. I drove through the roadblocks, found a new Warthog fitted with a grenade launcher, and watched it throw infantry and vehicles across the street with funny explosions. Then I caught up with the Scarab.
Oh my god, bruh.
Can't go any further this way. You have it trapped.
Bye bye. You froze on the leg. There we go.
However, destroying it did not stop Regret. His ship opened a slip space portal directly above New Mombasa and disappeared, tearing most of the city apart in the process.
What the hell?
The in amber clad, terrible ship name followed him through. Before we saw where it came out though, we returned to the alien from the beginning of the game.
But do not waste my time with talk.
He had not been executed. Instead, the prophets offered him the role of Arbiter,
Become the Arbiter.
a title given to disgraced elites who were sent on the Covenant's most dangerous missions.
You will die, as each Arbiter has before you.
This is where Halo 2 properly caught me off guard. Combat Evolved had given me very little reason to see the Covenant as anything beyond enemies to shoot. Now, I was controlling an elite that had been punished for failing to stop me in the first game.
Oh, what? You get to play as him? Oh shit, we're actually playing as the guy from the beginning. That's awesome. Oh, that's really cool.
The Arbiter controlled almost exactly like Chief, but instead of a torch, he had active camouflage. Combined with an energy sword, it let me disappear, get behind someone, and kill them before they had much of a chance to react. More importantly, grunts, jackals, and other elites were now fighting beside me instead of shooting at me. His first mission was to eliminate a group of heretics who had taken control of a Forerunner installation and began claiming that the prophets were lying. At the time, I did not know exactly what they had discovered. I only knew that the Covenant had sent me there to kill them before their message could be spread.
Our prophets are false.
Making the Arbiter playable was divisive even inside Bungie at the time, and I could see why. His missions do take a lot of time away from Chief, and they also completely changed the nature of the story in Halo 2. The prophets were absent from the first game. This mission shows that they were also in control of what the rest of the Covenant is allowed to hear. If somebody finds evidence that threatens the Great Journey, the prophets can call them a heretic and send the Arbiter to kill them. His disgrace is exactly what makes him useful to the prophets. They strip him of his rank, brand him as a failure, and then offer redemption through a little title designed to kill him before he can actually receive that redemption. He only accepts because the Covenant's religion is probably the only framework he has for understanding why his life matters. The change of perspective worked through the combat as well. Grunts stopped being disposable targets and began following me into battle. The energy sword changes from a warning that a dangerous enemy is nearby into one of my normal weapons. Even the same voices sound different when they are talking to me instead of trying to kill me. The mission itself was mostly a push through the station towards the heretic leader. But the best part came when he escaped outside and I got into a Banshee to follow him. After spending so long inside dark, narrow, and overwhelmingly grey corridors, I suddenly found the entire station suspended above a giant orange gas giant. Halo 2 does this several times. It traps me somewhere enclosed, then suddenly reveals how small that space is compared to everything around it. The station feels larger because the game made me wait to see it. I chased the heretic leader across the station and forced my way into the next section. He escaped again, but not before telling me to ask something called the Oracle about Halo.
I will defend the Oracle.
At the time, that meant absolutely nothing to me. The next mission takes us deeper into the station, where the heretics were already fighting something I was really not happy to see.
I don't like this area. Are we gonna start fighting the flood again? Oh, I just fucking jinxed it. Ah, great, man.
What I like about fighting the Covenant is that the different enemies have recognizable jobs when you're fighting them. Elites control the fight, grunts support them or make stupid noises, take your pick. Jackals restrict particular angles, and hunters are large. There is such a large amount of enemy variety, and that combination of enemies together makes fights fun and really easy to understand. The Flood flattened most of that structure for me. That's sort of the point, and for what the developers were going for when designing the Flood, they did it well. I just don't like them. Combat forms can carry different weapons, but their main plan is usually to rush me while absorbing enough damage to make that inconvenient. That fits what the Flood are, an organism that erases individuality like a collective is just biomass. But I think that enemy structure from the Covenant makes, stuff far less boring and far less disgusting. They work better here because the Heretics are fighting them too. In a three-way battle, the Flood do not need to carry the whole encounter, which makes it considerably more enjoyable than it was in the last game. Eventually, we cornered the Heretic leader beside the Oracle, who turned out to be 343, Guilty Spark.
Not this fucking prick again.
Our old friend, the same floating robot that almost convinced me to wipe out all sentient life in the last game. The Heretic leader tried to explain that the prophets had lied about Halo. The Arbiter was still completely loyal and refused to listen. He killed the one person trying to tell him the truth.
This heretic imperiled the great journey.
Then recovered the machine that could have proved it and gave it to the prophets.
That Oracle. So it is.
Somehow, there was a second one. Regret had led us straight to a second Halo, and Miranda sent Chief down with a squad of ODSTs. Soldiers launched from orbit inside individual drop pods. I watched some escape pod looking things and immediately suggested that Halo should have drop pod soldiers.
Like this is like the Helldivers drop pods. Dude, it'd be cool if that was in Halo. That'd be awesome.
Like in Helldivers. In my defense, I still had no idea what an ODST was. I was basically asking for Helldivers to be in the Halo universe while directly looking at them and not knowing that I was directly looking at them. Not knowing that Helldivers got the idea from Halo ODST. My bad. Compared with Cairo Station and New Mombasa, Delta Halo felt much closer to Combat Evolved. We were back in the huge outdoor environments, moving through ancient ruins while the Covenant dropped reinforcements ahead of us. These ruins felt different from the first ring. They looked less like exposed machinery and more like the remains of an ancient civilization on Earth, like the Inca or something, with enormous stone temples slowly being swallowed by the jungle over hundreds and hundreds of years. Unfortunately, they aren't as abandoned as we'd hoped. Johnson delivered another tank for the push inland, which made dealing with the Covenant much easier. The rest of the mission was a long push through Covenant positions and Forerunner units until I reached a temple where Regret was broadcasting another sermon.
Wait, go back.
I really like the Russian Orthodox, singing.
The index. To act.
I don't like the sound of that. That sounds like another library section. No. No.
Regret opened inside another Forerunner temple. There was also another index, which meant there was another library. Thankfully, Master Chief was not being sent anywhere near it. Miranda would have to go secure the index, while our job was much easier, crossing the lake, reaching Regret's temple, and killing him before he could activate the ring. Getting to him meant moving through submerged Forerunner structures and crossing the lake on the gondolas while the Covenant attacked from the surrounding platforms. After moving through some dark sections underneath the lake, which were an absolute blaster playthrough by the way, I finally reached Regret's temple. Then, the rest of the Covenant arrived. With High Charity and an enormous Covenant fleet now above the ring, we did not have much time. I forced my way inside and found Regret floating at the center of the room in his heavily shielded chair.
That's a fucking, boss fight.
Apparently, the most effective way to assassinate one of the Covenant's religious leaders was to climb onto his chair and repeatedly just punch him in the face.
I think I'm supposed to do something, but I have, no idea what to do, so I'm just, hanging on his chair for the fun of it, I guess.
Regret was dead, but the Covenant immediately began bombarding the temple from orbit. Chief was thrown into the lake and pulled beneath the surface by an enormous tentacle. I really hate tentacles.
You will journey to the surface of the ring and retrieve this sacred icon.
Tartarus dropped the Arbiter inside the Sentinel wall, an enormous Forerunner structure protecting the library. Before I could retrieve the index though, I had to lower the containment shield surrounding it. This area is built around mechanical walls and platforms constantly shifting throughout the structure. To progress, I had to activate a series of pistons that crushed everything beneath them and then opened the route further inside.
Okay, do we need all the Minecraft cave sounds?
There was also a noticeable increase in the number of Minecraft cave sounds per minute, which is always reassuring. The Sentinels protecting the ring's infrastructure were also fighting the Flood, so I could occasionally stand back and let both those sides solve the entire encounter for me. The fights still began to blur together, though. Dark interiors, repeated platforms, and constant machinery made it difficult for any one battle to remain memorable, even when the Flood and Sentinels produced interesting situations. One moment did immediately get my attention though.
Get up!
Somewhere inside the structure, I could hear human voices. The UNSC had reached the library too. Thankfully, Chief was not with them. I was not ready to fight myself. After an entire mission trapped inside the sentinel wall, the route opened into an enormous battlefield overrun by the flood. Almost immediately, they revealed that they apparently knew how to drive.
What the fuck? Is that a flood on the back of the Warthog? What the hell? They can fucking drive vehicles now? What the... I'm not losing my mind, right? We're not fighting humans. That was flood. I'm sure that was flood.
A flood form sprinting towards me with a shotgun was bad enough. One driving a warthog directly at me was far more concerning. I actually enjoyed the fighting the flood much more here. Instead of being trapped in dark corridors where they repeatedly ran at me, like in the later game, I had vehicles, open spaces, and other enemies to work with. I could drive past them, watch them fight elites and sentinels, or run them over before they figured out how to, steal something like a tank.
Whoa. Oh shit, wait.
Doesn't prevent me from firing at my own tanks though. Sorry. I pushed through the battlefield, boarded a gondola with the surviving elites, and reached the library just after Miranda and Johnson. Thankfully, my second visit to a Halo library was much shorter than the first. Miranda retrieved the index, but before she and Johnson could escape, the Arbiter attacked them.
Oh shit, the Arbiter hype max. That's crazy. Damn, bro. Holy animation.
Then, Tartarus arrived, captured both Miranda and Johnson, and took the index for himself.
Fate awaits you and the rest of your incompetent race. And I, Tartarus, chieftain of the brutes, will send you to it. And the prophets learn of this.
Oh shit, oh, the big furry guy's like betraying the,
They ordered me to do it.
Oh no. Damn, bro, he deserved a better death than that. What the fuck is that? What is that? Is this like the flood, overlord or something?
Instead of dying, the Arbiter woke up suspended beside Master Chief in the tentacles of the creature that had dragged Chief beneath the lake. It called itself Gravemind. It had captured Delta Halo's monitor, preserved what remained of regret, and gathered them in one room, together. How considerate.
This thing is right. Halo is a weapon. Your prophets are making a big mistake.
Your ignorance already destroyed one of the sacred rings, demon. It shall not harm another.
Chief already knew this, but the Arbiter refused to believe this. I wanted the Arbiter to believe him, but I could understand why he didn't. It wouldn't really make much sense if he did. If Gravemind was telling the truth, then the prophets had lied to him about everything. His punishment meant nothing. His chance at redemption was never even real, and the heretic leader he had killed had been trying to warn him all along. Gravemind realized that talking was not going to convince the Arbiter. If he refused to hear the truth, Gravemind was going to make him see it for himself.
This ring will make
So we're gonna work together?
brothers.
He sent the Arbiter back towards Halo.
That's funny.
Kill the demon.
And dropped Master Chief directly into the Covenant Council chamber, and then immediately sent the entire corridor into chaos. Truth escaped and left the brutes behind to deal with me. This was my first proper introduction to fighting them. They did not have the elite shields, but they absorbed an unreasonable amount of bullets before becoming angry and directly running at me. They are nowhere near as interesting to fight as an elite. When an elite's shield breaks, I have to decide whether to chase them before it recharges, or deal with everything else that's shooting at me. Brutes are much dumber, which I guess is sort of in the name. I could understand why the prophets preferred them though. The elites had enough power inside the Covenant to continue to question more and more of what was happening. The brutes were more loyal and stupid. They love bread. As I chased Truth throughout High Charity, I rescued Marines from a detention block and entered rooms where the Covenant had already started killing themselves. Elites and brutes who had spent the entire game fighting beside each other were now fighting each other.
The elites have failed to protect the prophets, and in so doing put all our lives at risk.
The civil war was not happening somewhere in the background. You could see it, which was definitely exciting.
So the elites are fighting the brutes. Cool. Still hate us though. Unlucky.
We're going to catch Truth. We'll need to take a shortcut, straight through the mausoleum. Look on the bright side. For now, they seem much more interested in killing each other.
Then I entered the mausoleum of the Arbiter. Breaking Benjamin started while the elites, brutes, grunts, and jackals fought across the room. Halo 2 had spent hours using chanting and orchestral music. Then, as their entire civilization began collapsing around me, this starts playing. Why does this work? Unfortunately, the Covenant Civil War was about to become the second biggest problem inside High Charity. The In Amber Clad suddenly crashed directly into the city. Not really a problem, it's not the capital of Earth or anything. It's Sydney, Australia in Halo? What? The main problem was that it had brought the flood to High Charity. Before Chief could reach truth though, the Prophet gave the index to Tartarus and sent him back to Halo with Miranda, Johnson and Guilty Spark. High Charity now had messages running through it, the Covenant fighting itself, and the flood spreading throughout the city. Meanwhile, the Arbiter was about to discover what the Prophets had done to his people.
Dude, those dead bodies back there were like actually so sad.
What have these done? They have shed our brother's blood, and for that they must die.
True. Side with the humans then, you know?
Tartarus had not only tried to kill them, the brutes were now doing the same thing to every elite they could find. After spending the entire campaign carrying out the Prophet's orders, I was finally fighting against the Covenant beside the surviving elites and grunts.
I hate brutes now. They suck. They're terrible. They killed all of the elites. They deserve it. Die!
Honestly, I was very happy to start killing brutes as the Arbiter. There's something so cathartic about it.
I love the war people.
I moved throughout the ruins, rescued whoever was still alive, and tried to help them fight back. Every group I saved followed me into the next battle, so my collection of extremely angry aliens kept getting larger. The Arbiter had suddenly not become a good guy though. He still hated humanity and was not ready to abandon everything he believed. He just knew that the Prophets had betrayed him and that Tartarus needed to die. Honestly, that's enough of a motivation for me. Eventually, I reunited with the elite commander from the earlier missions and watched Tartarus arrive at the control room with Miranda and Guilty Spark. He had the index. He had the human needed to activate it and now was extremely close to firing Halo. So naturally, the game sent me back to Chief. Before we could follow Tartarus into the control room, the story returned to Chief in the lower levels of High Charity. The flood had already reached Mercy, and Truth was perfectly happy to leave him behind. Before dying, Mercy revealed that Truth was heading towards Earth aboard the enormous Forerunner ship at the center of the city.
I'll detonate in Amberclad's reactor just like we did the Autumns. The blast will destroy this city and the ring.
We needed to get on it before it left. Getting there meant fighting through High Charity while the flood spread across the city, while the remaining brutes desperately tried to contain them.
Dude, when did this game turn into a horror game? What? Oh, nice. Fucking great.
Gravemind had played everyone. He used the In Amber Clad to escape Delta Halo, crashed it inside the Covenant's capital, and released the Flood, whilst the Covenant were too busy killing themselves to respond. This is where I think the Flood works best. They're very annoying to fight, don't get me wrong, but I'm also talking narratively. They had not arrived with an enormous fleet or fought their way through High Charity from the outside. They entered one abandoned stolen ship, and by the time anyone realized what was happening, they were already everywhere.
I can't get over the sound design. Everything sounds horrific.
Rooms that had been filled with Covenant soldiers minutes earlier were now completely overrun with biomass. The brutes were still trying to fight them, but High Charity already felt lost. All of that purple architecture destroyed. Sad. Chief jumped into the energy beam and boarded Truth's ship. Back on the ring, the Arbiter and the surviving elites fought towards a scarab powerful enough to destroy the control room's doors. Along the way, I freed several imprisoned elite council members and discovered that the Hunters had joined the rebellion too. This was becoming a very large collection of extremely angry aliens. We eventually reached the scarab and found Johnson and several marines about to be executed by the brutes. The Arbiter attacked, giving Johnson enough time to escape and take control of it. After spending the entire campaign fighting each other, Johnson and the Arbiter were now working together. Tartarus was about to activate Halo and kill both of them, which I would reason is a pretty effective team-building exercise. So Johnson used the Scarab's main cannons to reverse that seal. I grabbed a Banshee and protected him while the remaining brutes tried to stop us. I was now flying beside the elites, escorting a Scarab controlled by Sergeant Johnson and preparing to kill the leader of the brutes. What a switch-up. Johnson destroyed the doors and the Arbiter finally confronted Tartarus. Before they fought, however, the Arbiter asked Guilty Spark to explain what Halo actually did before killing him.
Now, and disobey the Hierarchs?
There are things about Halo even the Hierarchs do not understand. The sacred rings, what are they?
Weapons of last resort, built by the Forerunners to eliminate potential flood hosts.
What happened to the Forerunners?
After exhausting every other strategic option, my creators activated the rings. They and all additional sentient life in 3 radii of the galactic center died.
Tartarus, the Prophets have betrayed us.
No, Arbiter! The great journey has begun.
I do not think that Tartarus misunderstood him though. He had just been rewarded for betraying their lead and placed in command of the Covenant's armies. If the prophets were lying, then everything he had gained meant absolutely nothing. The Arbiter had already lost everything anyway.
How'd that feel?
Wait, did he just fucking die?
After Tartarus died, Miranda removed the index seconds before Halo could fire. We saved the galaxy! Then Guilty Spark explained that interrupting the activation sequence had placed every single remaining Halo installation into standby. All of them could now be activated remotely from somewhere called the Ark. I still had absolutely no idea where this Ark was, but that sounded very much like a problem for the next mission. Then the game cuts back to Earth. Truth's Forerunner ship appeared in the middle of the battle, with Master Chief hidden aboard it.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
This is gonna be awesome. I can't wait, I actually can't wait. That's it? Wait, is that it? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? I thought we were gonna fucking have another mission.
I genuinely sat there waiting for another mission to load. That could not possibly be the ending. Chief had only just returned to Earth. Truth was still alive, and the game had just introduced something called the Ark about 30 seconds earlier. Surely I was about to finish the fight. That was the specific thing he just promised to do. After finishing it, I learned that the campaign was originally supposed to continue beyond this point. Bungie had planned more missions on Earth, where Chief and the Arbiter would confront Truth and discover the Ark. The game's story felt so much larger now, so complicated and ambitious, until the team simply did not have enough time to build the ending it had actually planned. You can actually feel that missing act inside the game. Cairo Station takes a simple objective and turns it into a complete payoff. The ending actually sort of does the opposite. Chiefs reaches Earth, announces what he's about to do, and then the game ends before he can do any of it. Halo 2 stops at the exact moment this mission, this final mission, is supposed to begin. So, were people right when they told me to wait until Halo 2? Yeah, pretty much. I still had problems with it. I preferred the pressure created by Combat Evolved's health pack system, the Flood was still inconsistent to fight, and I found the Brutes much less interesting to fight than the Elites. Halo 2 is messier than the first campaign. Some of its ideas work far better than others. The Arbiter could have been executed during the opening and forgotten. Instead, he became the character I cared about the most. By the final mission, I was fighting beside former enemies from the first game, against the religion that had convinced all of us to fight each other in the first place. That ending annoyed me because Halo 2 was given far more to care about. Halo 2 was just too ambitious to finish, but it got far enough that I immediately wanted to see the rest of the story. After spending the first campaign wondering why people held Halo in such ridiculously high regard, I think that probably answers the question. Yes.